What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Go by the name of Ol'Soul. I like to make beats here. I like to break down what I've done. Let's go. So if you seen my last video, seeing I was doing the whole soul sampling thing, honestly, I've just been running with that soulful sound. I don't know if it's because I've been watching the Kanye doc or it's because I just can't think of any good R&B melodies. Who knows? But I figure I'm gonna keep on going with it until I run out of it. First things first, start with the melody. So for the piano melody, I made it super simple, nothing too crazy. I started with the A sharp minor ninth chord and then moved on to an F minor ninth chord. Really easy, really simple, really vanilla. Once I laid it down, I just felt like everything else was flowing already, so I just kept at it. And so after I laid down the chords, I just simply hit Control A and hit Alt S. That pulled up the strumizer window and I just drummed it simply. And that gives it a realistic effect. And then I kind of played around with some of the other notes and pushed them further to the right a bit and played with the velocity a little bit to give it a little bit more of a human feel to it. And so this is what it sounds like. Super easy, super simple, super vanilla, nothing crazy. The more and more I make beats, the more and more I realize simplicity isn't always a bad thing. After I laid down this piano melody, I went ahead and sent it to a mixing channel and just added some effects to it. So for the effects for the piano, all I did was put an EQ on it, rolled out a good chunk of the lows, because the lows in the piano tends to interfere with everything else. I didn't want that. Went on and added RC20 retro color, went to the vinyl 3 preset, lowered the noise just so it wasn't too visible, lowered the wobble just so it wasn't going all over the place. I added some space just to give it some decay. The next thing I did was I added Fruity Delay 3, lowered the width so it wouldn't be ringing off in the background too much, but just give it a little bit more widening to it, if that makes sense. The next part of this melody is I simply just layered it with a organ from the Analog Lab collection. I went to, what's this thing called? The choral organ. Sounds crazy. Sounds churchy, sounds beautiful. So I just ran with it. I simply just layered the organ over top of the piano and just kept it like that. And this is what it sounds like. It's not even playing. Yes, it is. I liked it because it gives it a nice little hum to it, and it sounds a whole lot more beautiful and fuller than when it was just a piano by itself. The effects I added to the organ was another EQ, took out the lows, took out the low mids just so it wouldn't be so sharp, and then added a Fruity Love filter and cut down the cut knob just so, like I said, it wouldn't be so sharp. Just wanted to be a nice hum, nothing crazy, nothing too piercing or bass heavy. And then I was recently put on to some secret sauce, right? I was recently put on to PanCake 2 VST. Crazy. It allows you to add some movement to your melody and it just sounds amazing. So I added it. I kept it on the regular preset. Of course I flipped through the preset and saw what they had, but I just kept it at the initial preset and just kept it at that, and it made it sound like it was just wavy instead of just a steady tone. Hopefully y'all can hear that. I highly advise, if you want to add some more movement to your melodies that sometimes maybe a gross beat or Effectrix can't give you, I highly advise getting PanCake 2. I got it from Plugin Boutique and it was actually for the free. I don't know if I got it on a sale or what, but I highly suggest go ahead and cop in that bad boy for the free. Can't beat free. And the very next thing I did to the melody is, y'all know how I feel about a vocal. So I said, fuck it, let me throw a vocal on there. I just went to Arcade, went to the Forevermore pack and Distant Voices, and just laid a simple tone. That sounded beautiful. I don't know how y'all feel, but it pulled an emotional string for me. So what I always like to do to my vocals, I always turn it down quite a bit on the knob here, just so it's not too loud, because I always like my vocal to be in the background. So I turn it down first, and then I go ahead and send it to a mixing channel, and then add a little bit of processing to it just to give it a little bit more. What I did was add an EQ to the vocals. I took out a lot of the lows, took a lot of the highs. I boosted a little bit, but not too much. The next thing I did was add a reverb, just so it could be a lot more spacey and a lot more wider and give it a little bit more body. Next, added a fruity delay. Took down the wet all the way low, just so it can echo just a little bit, but not too much. I also played with the time wheel a little bit, just so the little bit it did bounce back, it wasn't completely out of time, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm explaining that right. Finally, I added a fruity love filter and just turned down the cut knob a little bit, just so it wouldn't be so too piercing and to keep it in the background. But I wanted to muffle it a little bit. The next thing I did was I started playing with the drums. I started off with the hi-hats, actually. The first thing I did with the drums was just simply adding on hi-hats just to start giving it some rhythm and some bounce. I laid a very simple hi-hat pattern, nothing crazy. I laid it down to every 2, and then I just lowered the velocity for these middle ones a little bit, and this is what it sounds like. I took out the last few hi-hats at the end of each 4 bars just to change it up a little bit. Next thing I did was I went ahead and added in some open hi-hats. Notice that I have 2 different open hi-hats. One is a short but sharper hi-hat, and another is a longer, quieter open hi-hat. It's not as sharp as the other one. I felt like that gave it a lot more characteristic to the beat, and it's a little bit more variation and made it sound a whole lot better. After the hi-hats, I went ahead with the snares. After the snares, time to add in the kicks. Same thing with the open hi-hats. I added 2 kicks to layer on top of each other. One is more low and heavy, and one's a little bit more hollow. So I added them together just to give it a lot more body. Now after I went ahead and laid out the drums, I added the bass. That bass really set this beat off. I just added everything to it. I used to think I just needed Trillion and some other bass VSTs that I always heard people talk about, but boot bass is actually nice. All I did for my bass was what I do with all my basses. I just simply roll out all the hi-hats so I can just have the sub bass. At this point, when I was making this beat, I was vibing with this hard, but I felt like there was one more sound that could go along with the beat to kind of bring everything together. And I just went on Splice and kind of looked up some one-shots. Lately, I've been going crazy with one-shots. I feel like one-shots can really bring a whole beat together without adding too much to it, and that's all I did. I simply added in this piano one-shot. It's like a roll. I don't even know how to explain it, but once I put it all together with the rest of the beat, it just sounded pretty. It sounded great to me. I'm not gonna say it sounded pretty good. It sounded great. So this is what it sounds like. It's really faint, but it sounds like a sparkle in the background that you might hear in a lot of Rick Ross's beats and a lot of Nipsey Hussle songs. And so for that, I cut it to where it started at a specific time, and I drew out the length a little bit just so it would play out the way I heard it in my head. At this point, that's the whole beat in a nutshell right there. This beat definitely sounded like something like Rick Ross, Nipsey Hussle, or Nas would just get on and just rap on a nice soulful type beat without using a soul sample. That's what this one kind of gave me. It even sounds like a nice soulful West Coast type of beat. And that's it for this beat, y'all. Comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Please go ahead and knock out that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me. Leave a comment about what I can do to improve. Also, leave a comment if you got anything from this video. Also, I'm curious to ask, how do y'all know when a beat is fully finished? Leave a comment down below just giving me your thoughts on how you know a beat is completely done. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. And anything else, that's it from me, y'all. Peace.